Okay guys, to make our chocolate mousse cake, we'll need 1 cup of flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 heaping tablespoons of cocoa powder. Yeah, you need it, obviously. Sift that all together. You'll need super simple ingredients for this recipe, but there are a few secrets you'll want to know, so stay tuned. Toss in 3/4 cup of sugar, or more if your sweet tooth says so, and a pinch of salt. Now mix it all up. Just get everything combined, nice and even. In a separate bowl, crack in 1 large egg. Whisk it up for a couple of seconds. Then add 1/4 cup of cooking oil, followed by 1/2 cup of milk, and whisk it all up. It's best to use buttermilk here, but if you don't have it, no worries. Just add 1/2 tablespoon of lemon juice or white vinegar to the milk, let it sit for a few minutes, and voila! Your quick buttermilk substitute is ready. Now pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, then mix right away. Keep mixing until everything's combined. You're basically getting a workout while you're at it, so keep going. You should get a smooth, lump-free batter, just like this. Then add hot water to your batter and whisk it together. Yep, you're definitely getting a full arm workout today, folks. I'd suggest adding the water in 2 or 3 parts, whisking in between so the batter stays smooth. The batter will be pretty runny, but don't worry, that's exactly how it should be. Generously grease the sides of an 8-inch springform pan with a little butter. Here's a neat little trick. Take a sheet of parchment paper and fold it in half. Then fold it in half again. Next, fold it diagonally. And then fold it diagonally once more. You'll end up with a triangle like this. Place the tip over the center of the pan to figure out the size you need, then cut slightly beyond the radius. Unfold the triangle, and there you have it. A perfect circle. Now snap the springform pan over it. The paper's bigger than the pan to keep our liquid batter from spilling out, and it makes removing the base later much easier. Oh, and guys, do this all before making the batter. Pour the batter into the pan. Yep, we're scraping out every last drop. Pop it in the oven. Bake for about 30 minutes. You can check if it's done by sticking a toothpick in the center. Next up, we're making the syrup. Combine 1/4 cup of water with 2 tablespoons of sugar and heat it over medium heat, stirring constantly until the sugar fully dissolves. And once the mixture starts to boil, remove the pot from the heat. Add a teaspoon of coffee and let it steep for a little bit. If there are any coffee grounds left, you can strain it through a sieve for a smoother syrup. All right, time to take the cake out of the oven. A cracked top is fine, don't worry. Run a knife around the edge of the pan to make it easier to take the cake out. But make sure to wait at least 10 minutes for the cake to cool before doing this. Trim the top to make it even. If you don't have fancy tools, just use a serrated knife and thread to remove the top easily. But this step is totally optional. Brush a little of that coffee syrup over the cake, just enough to keep it moist, not to drown it. Then pop it back into the pan. Lining it with paper is optional, but if you want those fancy smooth edges, it definitely helps. I'm using parchment paper, but acetate strips work too. Put the cake aside. Let's move on to making the mousse. Finely chop 2 bars of chocolate. I'm using 70% cocoa here. Using good quality chocolate is key since it's the main flavor in the filling and it'll really affect the taste of the cake. Just chop it up nice and small, throw it into a bowl and set it aside. Now for the next step, grab 1 1/3 cups of heavy cream. Heat it slowly over low heat to about 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't let it boil, guys, or your ganache will turn grainy. Once you see bubbles forming around the edges, that's the perfect point. Pour the cream over the chocolate. Let it sit for a minute to melt the chocolate, then stir it all together until it's nice and smooth. By the way, while we're stirring, what's the dessert you're always craving but never make? Drop your comments below. I'd really like to know. Look at how gorgeous this is already looking. Let it cool to room temperature, then chill for about 30 minutes. You want it firm but not too hard. See, it thickened up nicely after 40 minutes in the fridge. Beat it on medium speed until it's light and fluffy. The cake we're making is going to be so good. Just imagine that smooth, silky mousse we're about to devour. I'm already drooling. And just like that, we've made ganache. Simple as that. In a separate bowl, pour in a cup of heavy cream. Whip it on low speed until it starts to thicken. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things. It's so mesmerizing. Then add a tablespoon of sugar. Increase the speed to medium and continue whipping until you get soft peaks. If you're enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Oh, just look at that. Fluffy soft peaks like a cloud in a bowl. Okay guys, here's a little trick you'll want to pay attention to. Add about 1/3 of the whipped cream to the ganache and start folding it in. As I folded it with the spatula, I realized the ganache had thickened a bit. So if that happens, beat the whipped cream and ganache mixture on low speed for a bit. But keep in mind, only use the mixer while working with this part of the cream. Once all the cream is in, don't do that, otherwise you won't get the right texture. Gently fold in the rest of the cream with slow upward motions. Look how light and airy it turned out. Perfect. Now spread the cream over the cake. Yeah, just throw it on there. Who cares? You gotta work fast but gentle, folks, before it thickens up. Spread it evenly, unless you're going for that abstract art look. Pop it in the fridge for at least a couple of hours so the mousse sets and the cake soaks in the flavor. All right, finally, take your cake out of the fridge and set it free from the spring form. Peel off the paper from the sides. See? Parchment paper really makes this part a breeze. If you've got some extra chocolate, whip up a quick glaze and drizzle it over the cake. Trust me, it will taste even better. You'll find the recipe in the description below. You can also sprinkle a little cocoa on top for a nice finishing touch. Oh my gosh, it's so soft. The knife's just gliding through like it's butter. Look at that, absolutely perfect slice. All right, let's give it a taste. I just know it's gonna be pure chocolate silk. Oh my gosh, it's so creamy, so rich. You've got to make this.